everybody, I'm Jen,
And I'm Tammy.
and they call us Woo.
Welcome back. I had another fun thing to talk about today. Excuse me, lots of thoughts that have been passing through my head. That happens sometimes. So I had this moment the other day where I just had this like firm talk with the universe because it's like I want these things that I want, and I want it to happen sooner rather than later. I am done waiting. I was just having a moment.
Sounds like you had a Jen moment, is what it sounds like.
Like, I am over this. I don't want this to happen anymore. I want this to happen. This is the way things need to work. And so, it was good that I let myself have those feelings because I had a sincere moment of frustration. And there's a lot of things that I have been told or guidance that I've been given about all these amazing things that are rolling out, these things that I'm working on in the form of a new healing center and other things in my personal life that are, these great things that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, I was having a moment where I'm like, I want it now. And so I had this whole conversation, and then throughout the rest of the day, it became much more gentle in my head. I think I just needed to get it out of my system. And I started to think about kind of the difference in this idea of just like manifesting things is like this super easy peasy, like you just want it and you say you want it and you get it and you just think positively all the time and it happens. And it's
Hmm.
really not that linear. There's some truth to some of that, but it's really not that linear in my experience anyway. Um, and I just started thinking about how not only the things that have already rolled out, but how things continue to roll out. For me, my larger picture is trusting that inner guidance, and that is like a continuing thing that I have on a higher level asked myself to be tested on. And I'm like, okay, Tammy, I think you think you're getting it now. So, but the interesting part to me was like it does take work. It's just not the work that you think it's going to be necessarily. Like there's a lot of internal things that have come up, a lot of old patterns, a lot of energetic things that have come up that once I have moved through them, it was really clear that that was a really important piece of it. Because sometimes it's been about release. It's been about not holding on to, because, if you're inviting these new things into your life, sometimes you need to make space for them. And some things that you have been doing just don't work in this new version of what you want,
Hmm.
or they're not quite, lined up correctly, or it's just okay for that part of your life to be done. And that's, you did everything you wanted to do in that time.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it doesn't always seem that way. Like you don't always recognize that you need to be able to process some of those things. And it does require a lot more internal work than you would think to align yourself with what you want. And also, you get just like this little piece of the picture sometimes. You don't get the full picture because sometimes if you had it, other things that you need to happen wouldn't happen.
Hmm.
So you get this much of it. You get stuck on like, this is the way things need to happen when the universe is really conspiring in this huge, broad picture of like, okay, this is what you want. We're going to give you this thing,
Hmm.
but it's probably not going to be the way you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And usually it's better, right? It's
Yeah.
better than anything you could have anticipated, but you have to still like you have to allow the flow of the universe. And boy, do I get a lot of practice doing that. But it just was an interesting comparison in my head when it's like, when I actually let this, steam off and then thought about it, and I'm like, okay, there is so much in the works, and you're getting so much. Like, immediately after that, the rest of my afternoon was just full of undeniable signs of like,
Yeah.
hey, it's okay. It's coming. Things are happening. Pay attention to the things that are happening and just allow. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let go of this thing. But it's like kind of a big trust fall sometimes, right? Like, you really have to trust that what you want is not only important, but also, everything that we want is divinely guided, because we're part of the whole source and divine as it is. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
this really interesting little head trip that you go through sometimes, where you're seeing just this little piece of it and you're like, but I don't understand why I don't have it yet. And you just don't see what it's going to fully be yet.
So I'm getting this beautiful image in my head right now that will kind of show your point, I think. So they're showing me like you holding up this puzzle piece, and this puzzle piece is the thing that you think that you really, really want, and you're manifesting this little thing. Like, I want a bouquet of flowers for my birthday. And you have this beautiful little puzzle piece that has this bouquet of flowers on it. And there's actually this gigantic 3,000 piece puzzle that is laying in the box on the table over there. And you just have this one little piece. And you're like, this is what I want. I just
Mm-hmm.
want this little bouquet. And what I'm seeing is the puzzle completely together. And it's like, there's this beautiful garden that has all of these flowers in it, and these flowers are picked from this beautiful garden that's next to this huge cottage with all of these trees, and this little dog running in the over in the trees over there, and all these people laughing and joyful and having fun. And it's all in this giant puzzle, and all you're trying to manifest is this one little bouquet of flowers that's down in this garden down at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom. And it's like, you don't even believe that you can have this one little bouquet of flowers yet. You haven't done your work. Like, you haven't taken the rest of the pieces out of the box yet and looked at it to know that there's more there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you were talking about, we need to do the work. Well, the work is training us to believe that we can have those
Mm-hmm.
things. It's just like, oh, I can have so much more than this one little puzzle
Mm-hmm.
piece. And so when we start to do that internal work, when we actually take all the pieces out of the box, we can start fitting those in because they're already there. They're already part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we don't see the whole picture. We
Mm-hmm.
only see that little teeny tiny bouquet of flowers down in the corner of that garden.
Yes. Well, and that's the funny thing too, is as I've been doing a lot of processing and, just moving through experiences, working towards this, next big thing that I'm um, manifesting, I guess you could say. um, the interesting thing is, every time I get a new piece, it's exactly like that. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, this is way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought that this was going to be this little thing, and every time it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, if I would have gotten all of that at once, I don't think I would have even believed or understood what to do to try to move
Yeah.
towards that. Like, I'm being given everything that I need at the time that I need it. Does it mean that I always feel that way? No. Sometimes I'm
No.
like, come on, man. Just show me
Well,
the next piece. But then
sometimes
all of
our
a sudden
pieces
it's
don't fit
like,
together.
yes. But then
Like,
sometimes the pieces are waiting on me to go, find it, because I needed to do something else to find that piece.
mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know that there was something else waiting for me
Yeah.
to find it first. And it is it's really beautiful in the moments that you just feel like you have truly released and you're just going with the flow. It's
Yeah.
okay to have these other feelings too. Um, but it's like those are the elements that just keep you going
Yeah.
because it makes you really have that moment of like, yep, this is the right thing. I know what's going to happen. I feel what's going to happen. But yeah, I think sometimes when there's just this like little, manifesting is just wrapped up in this little ribbon of like, just don't ever let yourself have a negative thought
Mhm.
and, continue to tell people what you want. And then it's as simple as that. Because
Yeah.
even what you want can change pretty drastically when your perspective changes.
I was gonna say shit, I'm in trouble. No negative thoughts. Don't change your mind. Ah.
Well, but then it's kind of like when we were talking about in the next episode where all of a sudden it could turn into creating like this little box for yourself
Mhm.
of if I don't do this, then it means that I can't have this. I must have done something wrong instead of
Yep.
this is exactly what I needed exactly when I needed it, even if I don't fully understand it right now, I will.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of trust, arguably.
Yeah. Yes.
And I know you've talked in, years past and stuff that you have had a lot of um, hard nudges from your guides and stuff too when you've had those moments of like, forget this. And they're like, hey, now.
Uh-huh. Yep. No, they just continue handing me that puzzle piece over and over and over again. And I keep throwing it away, hoping it goes away. And they keep handing it to me. It's like they have 20 of the same puzzle piece that they can just keep handing me when I keep dropping it and losing it.
Okay, so when you said that, I totally pictured Wind Eagle laughing his butt off because
Yes.
that absolutely seems like what he would be doing. Like, haha, here's your puzzle piece again.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. This is how my life is. This is how my life is. They know how I work. I mean, it truly is for me. I have talked before. I think I talked about this in a different episode that we just did not too long ago about how I need to do things 10 times sometimes. I need consistent nudges because I am stubborn as heck and I know this about myself. It is something that I am doing my internal work to try to shift this so that I can more readily accept things in right away. But sometimes I do. I need to go through the process a few times so that I trust
Mm-hmm.
because there are times that I don't trust easily and sometimes I just need to work on that process a few times. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do need them to hand me that puzzle piece over and over and over again. It might be the thing that I've been asking for 8 million times. And the second they start handing it to me, I'm like, nope, nope,
Yep.
nope, nope. This is scary. I don't know why you're handing this to me. What's behind this? Like,
Well, then
what
the
comes with
trippy part
this?
is in the larger picture, we have asked for that.
Yep. Yes.
So there's not even anyone we can blame.
No,
We're like, dang
no.
it.
And I'm aware of that, and that's why I can laugh about it because I do
Yes.
know the way that I work and the way that I process things currently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where I have to laugh at the way that I do things because I recognize when I'm doing it that I'm pushing back against the thing that I'm asking for. And I'm like, hee, this is stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Sometimes you're just not ready yet.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of insight to this whole trust thing. I know that was a larger part of my experience is getting to that very deep onion layer of recognizing how much I didn't trust myself in my inner guidance, which was a big part of me beginning this whole transition period. But it's interesting because I keep having things that I'm like, oh, okay, there's another, like you said, handing a puzzle piece back to me again. Like I was doing this meditation a couple weeks ago. Um, and it was just a really brief one, but it started out with just repeating to yourself, I am safe. I am safe right now. And it made me cry. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
there's something there. Okay. And
Yeah.
it was really kind of fascinating where sometimes you get those little like nudges where they're like, okay, well, you've gone through all of these different layers of it, but there's still a little something there that you need to be able to recognize so you can understand how to be exactly this beautiful divine creation that you are without
Yeah.
feeling like you need to, question all of the lovely things that you are putting forth into the world. And
Yeah.
it was really interesting, like how such a simple thing, and I've done it since, and I did some, meditation, and I've had some really amazing sessions and stuff since then with practitioners. And since then, it doesn't give me the same reaction, but it is kind of funny. It was just like you said, that little puzzle piece where like, okay, here you go. And it can
Yeah.
happen anywhere at any
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
honestly, I
so
think my kicking rocks moment was a part for me too, to just be able to like get it out of my system so I could be like, okay,
yes.
I'm back in focus again, but dang it if I didn't need to get that out of my system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you had brought up talking about, so when I came up and visited, we did some cacao ceremonies, and you had brought up talking about those, and I was like, yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Well, what you're talking about is bringing that up for me because cacao ceremonies and doing ceremonies are something that I love doing. And I hadn't stepped into that space of doing full cacao ceremonies with journeying. And I got the opportunity to do that at your center. And in the moment when we were sitting there, before we started, I was like all jacked up, all excited. And then I was like, oh crap. Like I don't have my structure. And we've talked about me and my structure. Sometimes I need a lot of structure. Sometimes I don't need a lot of structure. In those moments when I'm doing any type of event, I'm like, I need structure. I need structure. I need something to hold me in. Like, and I was specifically guided not to have a lot of structure for those ceremonies.
Mm.
And I had to allow myself to trust in those moments what was going to come forward. And I had some moments with my guides ahead of time, those moments where I threw the puzzle pieces back 20 times. This isn't the right fit. I'm not using this puzzle piece. And the puzzle piece was singing, like singing in front of people. I have a fear of singing in front of people. I will sing in sessions, like I do chants, I do singing in sessions when I'm drumming, but like singing in groups or in ceremonies, I typically don't do it unless there's other people singing. And
Mm.
I knew that they were nudging me. They were nudging me. And I was like, I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing. But I was so excited to sing. It's something that I love doing, and I love singing in healing circles. And I was afraid because I didn't trust myself to um give people a good experience with singing because I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be off key, I'm gonna sing a weird tone, I'm gonna do something wrong. And they kept coming back with that puzzle piece. Jen, this is the next puzzle piece. This is the piece you've been asking for us to hand you. And I kept saying, no, 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 this doesn't fit. I would like try to put it in that spot, and I was just trying to put it in the wrong hole. Like just, and they're like, no, 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 this is the next puzzle piece you need. Just put it in there. It's the next puzzle piece. And I kept fighting back. And we did the ceremonies, and there were a couple moments where they're like, prepare yourself, like you're good, we got you, we're here with you. And I was like, oh god, you're gonna make me sing in front of 8 people, you're gonna make me sing in front of and I finally had to resign myself to the fact that this is the puzzle piece. Like I have my drum, my rattles, like I have all the things here. I have my voice. Like I did not lose my voice, so I couldn't even say, "Oh, I don't have a voice. I can't do this." Um I had all the tools, and I just needed to step through that little internal thing that I had that told me that it wasn't the right puzzle piece. And they kept stepping forward and kept stepping forward and kept stepping forward. And I finally was like, oh, fine, I'll do it. And it was lovely. And it was beautifully opening for me and for the people who were in circle, because by me trusting, by me walking through the internal stuff, like it was also allowing other people to do the same. And I think that's part of the moment when we're manifesting, we're asking things to come in, we're asking for these beautiful things in our lives, and we don't recognize that when we fully accept, we're also helping other people create around us too, because what we're manifesting might also be helping other people. And what we're blocking might be stopping creation in other areas too. Like, we're all here, we're all part of the whole, we're all doing this work together. And it was one of those moments where I was like, oh yeah, me doing my shit helps other people. Me doing my shit helps me. And it gets them off my back. Like, they're gonna stop giving me that puzzle piece. Yes, exactly. But I think that's something that a lot of the time we don't think about is we are here doing this work so that we can move forward, but our work also can help other people.
It's those beautiful ripples. And that's why sometimes I think the cut and dry idea of manifestation is missing some of that larger picture too, because every beautiful thing that we really truly manifest into our lives is part of our highest and best, and it's going to always cause some type of ripple in all of these lovely ripples that are happening everywhere, is just in between us and all of our connections. And it's when it all works out that way and you can see that larger picture on the other side of it, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Tammy is sitting holding her bouquet of flowers on the one side of the puzzle, and I'm over petting the dog on the other side. And all y'all listening, you guys are in the puzzle too.
Yes.
Doing whatever thing you love.
And honestly, like I love hearing that story too, and I love how approachable you are with all of the ways that you also bring your true honest self into these ceremonies, because I know how much that means to you. Even when we were talking in the last episode about certain structure and stuff, it what was popping into my head is like, it's, you were talking about not being able to be fully present when you were smudging whatever, and I'm like, it's because you just love the ceremony of it so much. It just feeds your soul.
Yes.
And that's like you putting everything into this ceremony with everyone else also involved you being really vulnerable. And that's such a beautiful gift that you brought in there, and also maybe good perspective for people, where it's like when you are leading a ceremony, you're also in it with them. You know, it's this circle where we all get to support each other. And I got to be part of one of the ceremonies you did, and it was lovely. It was lovely on so many levels. It was very healing for me. It was lovely to be in ceremony with the women that were there with me, and my heart just swelled seeing you in your element. It was all around a really beautiful experience. So I'm glad you did share a little bit about that. I mean, obviously I wasn't going to be like, you have to talk about it, but I did think it was a really cool experience for you, because it's such a big deal for you to fully embrace how much you love that, and that's where you really want to be. And you're really good at it, because you bring such an honest piece of yourself to it. That's, you know, none of it feels like someone telling you how to do things. It feels very supported and very loving, which is absolutely the type of person you are. And I would imagine that's also such a welcoming space for all of the guides and others that are present as well, right? Because I'm sure that they feel if something doesn't feel quite right with someone's energy,
it just won't come in. They're like, peace out.
Exactly.
You're not with it today. I'm done with you. No.
So that allows everybody on either side of the veil to just experience the ceremony
Yeah.
together, which is just beautiful.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't say that. They come in anyway because they're there in support. I don't want anybody to be like, no, they can't just leave. No, they usually come in and they gently nudge and say,
Yeah.
hey, let's create this space. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm grateful that I had that opportunity and that I was surrounded by people who um could walk through that with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um because I love ceremony, and ceremony is about creating space for people to manifest what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is not only about the release of what you no longer want to carry with you, but it is about bringing in those energies that are going to support you, and they're going to
Mm-hmm.
feed your soul, and they're going to help you move forward. And it's like when people are doing manifestation and trying to call things into their lives, any type of ceremony, any type of personal ceremony is going to be beneficial for them to get them in that sacred space so that they can look at their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not looking at your stuff, it's going to make it really hard for you to call in the things that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ceremony offers a lot of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
That peace, the moment when you can really feel your connection, or even understand if you are looking for something specific and that's not what you get from it.
Yeah.
The ability to be able to look in hindsight and go, oh, okay, so I had this whole expectation around this experience I was going to have, but what was really being called to was this other thing that I needed to pay attention to, which is
Mm-hmm.
also lovely. And I think when you can do ceremony with other people, um, all of your intentions, every intention that's spoken into the circle is just amplified so much
Yeah.
because everyone is carrying that. Everyone is putting that out there. And it's
Yeah.
so interesting to me how you're drawn into these spaces where people have very similar things that they're moving through sometimes, or they're in a very supportive role for something you're moving through. And it works. It all works
Yeah.
together. I've even been in a circumstance where there was something I was hosting in my space for Reiki, and there was a person who was added to the room a little bit later, and I knew for a fact that this person could be a little triggering for another person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really interesting because I knew that, and I was like, am I supposed to be concerned about that? And it was like, absolutely not. This
Mm-hmm.
person is supposed to be there too. And I was like, okay, well, that works too. And that person being able to offer the gift of a trigger and allow the other person to find the peace in that space was exactly what they needed. And
Yep.
then it released all of this other stuff around it, and it released their need to feel like they have to control a certain situation. It was exactly what they needed. So even when you're in space with people who sometimes, it's not always like, oh, we're skipping rainbows, sunshine, happy.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a little bit of other things that you need too. And
Mm-hmm.
if you allow yourself to be in that flow with the universe, like we're talking about, where you're like, whatever it is I need, I'm going to have to be okay with
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting how much growth you can get from it.
Yeah. Yeah. There are there are so many situations I've been in where it's like the trigger is the biggest gift that I've received.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we had Daniel on before, like a whole bunch of episodes back, and he was talking about triggers,
Yeah.
and like that is a big thing that I've heard him talk about so many times, is like every trigger is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically when you're trying to manifest something in your life, there's going to be a lot of the time, there's a lot of triggers that will show up
Mm-hmm.
that could stop you dead in your tracks if you let it. but really it's the thing that's meant to show you the door to what you're looking for.
Right.
It's it's one of the best healing tools you can utilize
Mm-hmm.
in front of you if you're willing to accept it.
Yeah.
And
And
eh, it sucks,
arguably
but it's
just say,
good.
yeah, just saying like, oh, triggers are gifts sounds so much more simple than it feels.
Oh yes.
I
It
mean,
sucks. I
and
will admit
triggers
that.
have all different levels of extreme, but the times that you can actually view it as a gift, even if it's not a gift you wanted,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it's interesting how much that will change your perspective on what exactly it is you take from that situation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like going back to what started this whole thought process of this getting to what you want isn't necessarily linear, but it's always for the best.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being able to open yourself up to, like, one of my favorite things I learned going through all this was when you're in those spaces where you're like, this is not what I wanted, reminding yourself that you can be open to seeing things a different way, and actually saying that out loud, speaking that into the universe. I'm open to seeing things a different way. It's
Yep.
kind of interesting how much that will change things sometimes, because you could be dead set on something and this is what I want and I want it now and whatever, and as soon as you're open to seeing something a different way, it's like all of a sudden this new thing pops up. You're like, oh,
Uh-huh.
that's why
Yep.
it didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating, but it is work, but it's like the most fulfilling work that I think you could ever do, because it's really trying to fully embrace your soul and your connection with yourself and everything around you, which is just kind of the most amazing thing we can do.
Mhm.
I mean, it's pretty epic.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching a video this morning and I don't know why this popped into my head, but this gal that I was watching the video of, she was talking very candidly with the camera about how, or whoever's watching, not necessarily the camera, but she was talking about how in her life she always was afraid of doing the things that she wanted to do. And she's like, I just really wanted to make puppets, and I wanted, like, it was just these sweet funny little things, and she pulls out this puppet that was adorable and kind of creepy all at the same time, because puppets can be creepy. But it was it was very cute. And she's like, I just wanted to make puppets and I just wanted to do this and I just wanted to do that. And she's like, and I always thought it was stupid for me to
Aw.
do these things. And so I never did them. And then all of a sudden I decided that I'm scared to do this, but I'm just gonna do it. And let me tell you, my life is so much better because of it.
That is the
And
sweetest thing.
it was I I don't think I saved that video. I should have saved that video because it was hysterical. Oh, one of the things, she had like this black bow, and she's like, and tomorrow I'm gonna wear this black bow. And it was like this giant black bow. And she like held it up to her chest and she's like, oh, it would look really cute there. And she like stuck it to herself.
That's so cute.
It was adorable. I have no idea who this lady was. It
I
was
don't
just
know
some
who
random
she is,
video.
but I love her.
Uh-huh. It was I loved the video and I loved the message that it was like, sometimes you're scared to do the things that you love to do because you're afraid of getting judged, or you're afraid of judging yourself, or you're afraid you're going to do it wrong, you're afraid whatever. And so many times in our process of trying to manifest something, we're asking for these big things that we want, but then we're so afraid to reach out and take it
Mm.
because we're judging ourselves, or we think we're going to screw it up, or we think that somebody else is going to judge us for wanting that. When sometimes, even if there's a little bit of fear, just stepping out and making that puppet or wearing that silly bow is going to change your life. And even if somebody is like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you wearing that bow? Who the heck cares if it made you happy?
Right. Right.
Like, who the heck cares? And the
Mm-hmm.
piece is like stepping through your own fear of what might happen. Because what's worse, not doing something that you love doing and allowing yourself to accept that into your life, or getting stuck because you're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of this calendar that I got from my daughter. It's one of those like daily affirmation things or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
it's called "You're a Badass." It's pretty awesome. And there was one day where it said, "Worrying about things is like praying for something you don't want." And I was like, "Oh man, isn't that the truth?" It because that's the interesting piece of it is the universe is giving you exactly what you're asking for, and if you're always asking for what you don't want, that's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, well, you're asking for it.
Yeah, stop that.
If you're like, I am so worried that everyone's going to think I'm insane by wearing this bow, then,
Mm-hmm.
but then you take that little step out where you're like, but I want to wear this bow. And they're like, cool, wear the bow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then all
And
of a
then
sudden your
somebody
day
comes up to
feels
you.
better.
Yes. And then somebody comes up to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I love that bow so much.
Yes. Yes.
And then you made somebody else's day better.
Well, if you can find that, you'll have to send it to me because that sounds like a very awesome, sweet video.
Yes, I loved it. And the girl, she just cracked me up. Like, I don't, the way that she talked and her gestures and the way that she was speaking, I just loved it. So I'm gonna
I
look
love
and see
that
if I
too.
can find it, but I'm sure it was like one of those weird Instagram things that just populated into my thing and I will never find it ever again.
That's okay. You got to share it with
Yes.
me and with anybody who's listening. So she will
Yeah.
live on in our memories.
Yes. I will try to find it though.
I did want to bring up too as we end. There is a book I've been listening to that people who might be interested in manifesting or really like doing kind of some of the deeper work that they want to do around letting things flow. I've been listening to Infinite Receiving by Susie Ashworth, and it's been really good. I mean, there's a lot of really good information out there, but she's definitely she's not the type of woo that's going to be hard for people to understand. She's very
Okay.
accessible, but she talks a lot about this idea of coming to this, the things you want with a feeling of fullness and wholeness, because that thing that you think you want isn't necessarily going to make you feel any different way. The
Mhm.
internal work is the piece where you come to everything with a sense of fullness and wholeness, and all of a sudden the things around you seem like they get a little easier, or things
Mhm.
that you think you have wanted roll out in ways you wouldn't even expect. And it's just I've been enjoying it so far. So maybe we can put that in the resources in case people are interested in it. It popped into my
Mhm.
head to share it. So
Cool. You keep saying the term roll out, and my brain goes to roll out, roll out. I don't know if anybody knows that song, but if you do now, you're going to have it in your head. You're welcome.
that is a great way to wrap this up today
Yeah.
with a little earworm for people.
Yep. We'll see y'all next week. Roll out.
If you want more woo, please feel free to check the links in the description. Of course, we love hearing from you, so keep letting us know all of your lovely ideas. Have a beautiful day, our wonderful woo mates.